So for this morning, our topic is the rectangular coordinate system. So when we talk about the rectangular coordinate system, this system was developed in 1637, and it was refined by the French mathematician René Descartes. The rectangular coordinate system is also referred to as the Cartesian plane. So this is the what we normally call the rectangular coordinate system. So when we say Cartesian plane, we mean the rectangular coordinate system. This was given in honor of Descartes. Now, this system allows us to describe algebraic relationships in a visual sense, and it also helps us create and interpret algebraic concepts. So I think everyone has used a map. Remember in your Araling Panlipunan class, when you are looking for the exact location of a certain country or a certain place, you were asked to look at a map that has a grid or a grid system map. The Cartesian plane is also like a grid system. There is a vertical axis and there's a horizontal axis. So if you would look at this map of a campus, you can see here that there's a vertical axis which consists of the labels A, B, C, and D. On the other hand, there's also the horizontal axis, which are labeled as 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, for example, we want to find the actual location of the student center. What we can do is to name the vertical and the horizontal axis to which it belongs to. So for example, let's look at the student center. What is the exact location of the student center? What is the student center's horizontal axis? That is 2. So because it's here, right? So it's 2. What is its vertical axis? And this one is B. So if you want to locate the student center, you will say it is located at 2B. How about the parking garage? What is the location of the parking garage? Okay, you are right. It is 1A. So the parking garage is in the first, first area in the horizontal axis, and it's in the A area of the vertical axis. How about the stadium? In what grid or look, what's the exact location of the stadium? Okay, that's correct. It's 4B. How about the engineering building? That's right, it is 3B. So this is how a grid map works. And this is also very similar to a Cartesian plane. The rectangular coordinate system or the Cartesian plane consists of two basic elements. The first one is the rectangular coordinate plane and the ordered pairs that are plotted as points on the plane. If you would look at this figure shows us the rectangular coordinate system. As you can see, there is what we call the red line. It's the y-axis. It's the vertical axis. The blue line represents the x-axis or the horizontal line. Now, the center is what we call the origin. Okay, this is where all points start from the vertical and the horizontal. We call the right side of the horizontal line, the right side of the x-axis as positive x-axis. So lahat ng nasa right, lahat yan. And we call the ones at the left of 0 in the horizontal axis as the negative x-axis. So ibig sabihin, lahat ng numbers dyan, negative. If we look up from the origin, we look up, we get the positive y-axis. And if we look down from the origin, that is the negative y-axis. Also, the different axis, it produces quadrants. The quadrants are named in a counterclockwise movement. So we have here quadrant 1, and then quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So remember, counterclockwise yung movement niya. So quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. This quadrant, based on the signs of the x and the y axis, in quadrant 1, this means that x here is positive and y here is positive. In quadrant 2, the sign of x is negative and the sign of y is positive. Kasi yun yung nakatapat sa kanya. Sa quadrant 3 naman, negative yung x, negative din yung y. And sa quadrant 4, positive yung x, negative yung y. So what is this signs that I wrote inside the parenthesis? I want you to remember that there are two parts of the basic elements of the rectangular coordinate system. The plane, this is the plane formed by the two intersecting lines, and the ordered pairs that are plotted in it. So ito pong ganito, ang tawag po dito ay ordered pair. Ang nakalagay po dyan ay isang x at isang y. So that means an ordered pair is a pair of x and y. Okay, it's a pair of x and y. That's the ordered pair. That's why if I tell you in quadrant 1, positive yung x, positive yung y, you can say that in quadrant 1, there is positive x and positive y. In quadrant 2, it's negative x and positive y. In quadrant 3, it is negative x and negative y. And in quadrant 4, it's positive x and negative y. So these are all the ordered pairs. Now, these ordered pairs actually help us to plot certain points. So let's try to plot points and look for points in the rectangular coordinate system. Okay? So allow me to make another Cartesian plane. Okay, so here. So let's try to plot the points of the following points. So let's have the point 4, 5. Let's say this is point A. And then point B is negative 3, 2. Point C is 4, 0. Point D is negative 5, negative 5, and negative 2. Okay, so let's try to plot these points in our Cartesian plane. Okay, let me just move it up so that we can see it better. Okay, so let's plot the points. I will use our red marker. So point A is 4, 5. So the value of x is 4. The value of y is 5. Okay, let's just erase that excess part. So we have to look for x is equal to 4. So where is that? X is the horizontal axis. So nasan ba yung 4? Ito siya. Ito yung 4. Okay? And then 5 daw yung y-axis. Ito yung 5. So if I have them meet, the point is located here. Okay, I'm just making it big so that you can see the point. So this is where point A lies. So it's like having the two vertical and the horizontal line meet. There, that is where you will plot the point. Let's have negative 3, 2, or B. That the x is negative 3 and y is positive 2. So let's locate 3 first, negative 3. So negative 3 is here. That's x, negative 3. and then positive 2. So that means I have to go up because this is positive 2. So this is now the point. That's point. Let's now go to point C. Let's try. Try it yourself. Where will we put point C? Point C says it's 4, 0, meaning x is 4 and y is 0. So where is x is 4? It's positive. So it's here. This is 4. Pero sabi 0 daw. So ang partner niya is 0. So that means I will just put the point here. Because that is where point C is. Okay. And last, we have negative 5 and negative 2. So negative 5 and negative 2, negative yung x. Here's negative 5. And then negative din yung y. So we have them meet. And this is their meet up point. Okay. So again, in order for you to plot the points, you have to identify where the x is and then have it meet with the y. Yung intersection nila, dun yung ilalagay sa corner na yon, yung vertex or yung point. Okay? So let's identify in which quadrant can we find the following points. So what quadrant can I find point A? You're right. Point A is in quadrant 1. How about point B? Where is it? It's in quadrant 2. Correct. How about point C? Is it in the quadrant? Is it inside the quadrant? Wala, di ba? Nasaan siya? Dikit siya o nakaplot siya sa positive x-axis. Therefore, we will write here, it's in the positive x-axis. Kasi wala siya sa gitna. Wala siya dito sa area na to. It's not in this area. It's in the line. It's on the line, horizontal line. And let's have negative 5 and negative 2. Okay, that is in quadrant 3. So by simply looking at the sign of x and y, you can also identify the quadrant of the points so that it will be easier for you to plot it in the Cartesian plane or in the rectangular coordinate plane. So I hope that you understood that. And in order for me to make sure that you understand, you can do this practice exercise. Now, let me just show you how you can draw your rectangular coordinate plane. No, mas maganda if you have a graphing paper or if your math notebook has grids in it. It's easier to plot the points. Mas accurate yung measurements natin. But remember, if you don't have and you're just using a plain sheet of paper, then make sure that your x-axis and your y-axis are straight. And then make sure that the values of the numbers, of the integers, yung space niya is even. Okay? So let's try to work on that. This is how you will be drawing your Cartesian plane. So of course, first, you have to draw, let's say, a vertical line. So hopefully mag-straight siya. Okay. And then you put arrowheads on both ends. And then you can draw the horizontal line. Okay? And then again, you put arrowheads on both sides. You can put a dot here to represent the origin. And then you can do your graduation, yung values. So hopefully, these graduations, you can make it as even as possible. Kaya it's better if you have a graphing paper. So like that, you can also do that here. And then you just write the value below 1, 2, because it's the positive x-axis. So we write positive numbers. It's the positive x-axis. This is the positive y-axis. So we also put positive integers. Of course, on the left of the x-axis, then that means we have to put negative numbers because this is the negative x-axis. So we put negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, -6, -7, -8, and so on. Okay, this because this is the negative y-axis. Okay. And lastly, we have the negative y-axis. So you write again, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, and so on. This is the negative y. Sorry, I placed y here. That's the negative x-axis. Sorry. And this is the negative y-axis. Okay, so this is how you make the Cartesian plane. So I hope that you kindly practice drawing a Cartesian plane. It's better if you have a math notebook that has a grid. If not, then you can use a graphing paper or simply a plain paper. Just make sure that your lines are straight and the distance of the different points are as much as possible, as even as possible. Okay, so let's work on this one. After you have drawn your own rectangular coordinate system, I want you to plot the following points in the Cartesian plane. And then identify the quadrant the point belongs to. The quadrant the point is found. So let's name the following points. This is point A, point B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. Okay, so that it would be easier for you to plot the point. No need to write the coordinates. Just write the letter after you have plotted the points. So I'll give you time to work on this. You can pause this video so that you can answer it first on your own. And then later, when you're done, play the video again so that we can check your answers. Okay, so I hope that you're done answering the activity because you already played the video to continue. So let us plot the points that I gave you in our Cartesian plane. Okay, so the first point is 6, 8. So x is 6, y is 8. So 6 and then 8. So here, this is point A. So point A is in quadrant 1. The next is -4 and 1. So negative yung x, positive yung y. So if that's the case, it's in quadrant 2, right? So this is -4 and this is 1. So the point is here. So this is point B. And point B is in quadrant 2. The third point is C, 8, 4. So 8, x is 8, y is 4. So it's approximately in this place. And again, it's still in quadrant 1. And for point D, it's -3, -2. So x is negative, y is also negative. -3 is here, -2 is here. So I'll put it in this point. Let's let point D. And point D is in quadrant 3. Next, we have E, 9, 0, 9, 0. Positive 9. So hanggang 8 lang yung akin dito. So I will put another 1 because until 9 daw. So 9 and 0. So this is 9. 0 is here. So it's just in the x-axis. That is point. So the letter E is in the positive x-axis. Oops. Next, we have here F, which is -8, 0. -8, 0. Let's just erase this excess writing. So again, it's 8, -8, 0. So -8, 0, negative x. So here is -8, and then 0 is here. So it's in the negative x-axis. And then we have 0, 5. G is 0, 5. So x is 0. So we start with the origin. And then we go up to 5 kasi y is 5. So here is 0 and 5. So that's point G. And it's in the positive y-axis. Next, we have H, 3 and 4. So x is 3, y is 4. This is 3, and this is 4. So that's H. It's in quadrant 1. And then we have 9, I, point I, which is 1, 1. So x is 1, y is 1. It's here. And that is I. It's in quadrant 1 also. And our last, it's -8 and 8. Negative x, positive y. So -8 and then positive 8. So it's here. And it's in quadrant. So I hope you got the answers correctly. You should have two answers. First is the plotted points in the Cartesian plane, and this is it. I hope that you got it correctly. And the second answer should be the quadrant where the points belong. So if you have any questions, you may reserve your question so that you can message that to me. Or you can play this video again if there are parts that you don't understand or seem to be confusing for you. What you can do is to review the rectangular coordinate system. And this is in preparation for our linear equation in two variables. So our next topic would be linear equation in two variables, looking at equations such as this. It's in the form ax plus by equals c or equals 0. So we will look at that later in our next discussion.